deserve to go through for sure.
Very encouraging to play two legs against a side that does score goals and keep two clean sheets.
Yeah, I think people forget, going into this time, I'm not sure Spurs were favourites. Dortmund top of the league, scoring goals, looking very dangerous. Clean sheet, two clean sheets. Some massive performances, I thought, tonight as well. Harry Kane, Vertonghen, Lloris. Big night for Spurs.
Okay, the UEFA Champions League last 16 continues tomorrow, and according to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, mountains are there to be climbed. He's climbed a few. This one's a big one. United trail 2-0, and we start the build-up to their second leg in Paris at 7 o'clock on 2HD and in 4K ultra-high definition. The other match features Porto and Roma. Porto are 2-1 down from the first leg, and that one is on 3HD from 7:45. Highlights from all four of this week's ties can be seen with Matt. An extraordinary night in the Bernabeu, but here we've seen a thoroughly professional Tottenham performance.
Yeah, I think first half Spurs got a see into without conceding a goal, and they were very fortunate to go in at half time. But I feel that the manager must have calmed down, got into the second half, and they put on a very mature, professional performance second half. And once Harry Kane goes through, he's the type of striker we were talking about before. When he goes through, you expect him to score, minimum hit the target, and today he done just that.
I suppose Spurs were always going to expect some kind of a blitz from to use
but it was
wrong
more
word,
they were better than I expected, Dortmund, in that first half. I thought some of their football was absolutely incredible. They played open Tottenham up, made chances, the keeper made great saves.
They needed a goal, didn't they?
They needed a goal.
Yeah.
The goal didn't come. 10 minutes to half time, you could suddenly see them stop believing, and Tottenham started getting a little bit of control. Once the goal went in second half, they were finished. They not going to score 5 goals. So Harry Kane was the killer for them.
It just shows you how important it is to keep a clean sheet in the home leg in the first one.
It's huge because you don't then have to open up and go chasing things. The control is in your hands. Both games are very similar. In the first half of both games, Dortmund were very good, but they just fell away, and you felt Spurs grab control, and that man at the top end of the pitch is just too clinical for teams.
That's right. There are certain players, certain strikers in world football that when they're on one-on-one with a goalkeeper, they're going to score.
Yeah.
And this fella is definitely one of them.
Oh, absolutely. He's and that is obviously what great strikers do, Gary. You know yourself. When you get there, the great strikers, they finish. That's why they get the amount of goals they get every year. There we go, no danger.
Cool head.
What I love about this guy, a lot of strikers at this point here, when this ball comes, he takes his first touch. So first of all, he's seen that he needs to get onside. He gets onside. When he takes his first touch, a lot of strikers would take another one, get out of the feet. He kind of takes one, waits, sets himself, know exactly what he wants to do with it, has a look, whips it near post. I mean,
it is that that first touch. That first touch tells him everything about the next part of that situation. It gives him the ability to hit it first time, and I think that's important.
What a game it is, Rio. He comes back from injury. Suddenly they lose it. They have a couple of dicky results, and suddenly you get idiots saying Tottenham are better without him. He shouldn't have got back in the team.
Was anyone seriously saying that?
Absolutely. They brought Kane back. They were better without him. They were winning, and now he's come back in. They rely on him too much. He's different class. He's the best around. He's an absolutely incredible
They'll be saying
striker.
the same thing about Dele Alli when he comes back as well.
But what's great about him,
that's something that Spurs can look forward to.
I love, they can look forward to having Dele back because it gives them a different dimension.
Massive.
He runs behind, he causes different types of problems for teams. But it's his all-round game, Harry Kane, which I love. The ball comes into me, bullies defenders. He gets his back in, draws really good fouls for his team, calms things down. There's so much more to him than just goals, which makes him such a nightmare for a defender to play against.
Very true. But it was the other end of the pitch in many ways that sustained Tottenham's presence in this game, in the first half in particular.
Even in the couple of games where they've been not entirely at it, I know there've been mistakes within that. Defensively, they've not been too bad, and this guy Vertonghen, probably along with Lloris, over the last couple of weeks have been, they've been top draw. I think Lloris' penalty save.
Trouble there, that's for sure.
This guy is a quality player. He's been at the club for so long.
Class.
I mean, at wing back he was brilliant, obviously in the first leg, and he's shown just how much quality, and Harry uses a perfect word for him, the class that the guy has, and shown over the two legs has shone.
Harry, you spotted him before you left, didn't you?
Well, no, we watched him. I went over to Holland. We watched him. I watched him again at Old Trafford. I went to that game. We decided to sign him. But
he actually signed while you were still manager.
It was a funny day, Gary. I was leaving the last day of the season. We just beat, I think it was Fulham at home, and I was just coming out the ground, and he was going up in the lift with a member of the staff. I thought, You know, he saw me. How are you doing, Bar? Well, that's funny. No one told me he was here, and that was it.
He's a great player.
They didn't tell me he was here, and they didn't tell me I wasn't there.
Brighton was on the wall when you saw him in the lift with someone else.
But what a player.
I would imagine. Hugo Lloris, if you look at turning points sometimes, when things are not going so well, like they've been for Tottenham in the last last couple of weeks, there are little turning points that can change things, and perhaps it was this Hugo Lloris save from the penalty against Arsenal, which would have meant defeat. And obviously for Tottenham once again, an extraordinary block as well.
You know what?
Despite encroachment, obviously, for Arsenal fans listening, we know, it's okay.
We've heard you loud and clear. That is the moment, Gary. You know, and you say there are some, that's the moment. Because things were starting to fall apart. They're a good side that can sort it out, but that going to 1 point, going into this,
one in the first half, and all of a sudden things are different.
And he was massive today in the first half, Hugo, making some really assured saves to take them into that second half to go and win it.
And now, of course, Tottenham, different frame of mind going to the game at the weekend. Against Southampton, then they've got, I think, a little rest after that because they're not in the cup. 3-week break. They'll be Liverpool at the end of the month. Then they'll be in the quarterfinals. We don't know who they're going to get yet. Exciting again for Tottenham fans after the disappointment the last few weeks.
The narrative last week was it's going to be down to 1 point because you might get beat by Arsenal with the form, and you're going to get done over in Dortmund. So you're going to be out of the Champions League and down to a point. All of a sudden, you know, through to the quarterfinals, and it's you got a 4 point gap. You know, things to split.
And you might
right
say this was a given tonight, but just look at the other game.
Correct.
Look at the other game.
This would have been the biggest disaster of all time. 3-0 up. If they'd got done tonight, wouldn't it? It would have been absolutely incredible. I don't think they'd recover from that too quickly, you know. But no, it's over the 2 legs, great performance. Gives them a real chance to draw. Who's going to win it's wide open. This is a wide open Champions League this year.
It really is, isn't it?
Real Madrid gone, Barcelona not what they were, Juventus look in trouble. The English teams have got a great chance of winning it this year, and Tottenham are in the mix. Why shouldn't they be?
Yeah. It's all. I mean, it's very open. Well, I think we've said this from the start of the Champions League this season because there's teams in transition. Obviously, Barcelona looking very good in Spain. Real Madrid have been appalling all season. Juventus have been kind of scrambling results. They're comfortably clear in La Liga, but they're massive thing to turn that around against Atletico 2-0.
Yeah, and I think years gone by, I think there was always a team or two that stood out from the pack. But this year, there's been everyone's saying some PSG, some saying Juventus, a Cristiano Ronaldo effect, Messi effect. But there's no one you go bang, they're the team. But listen, I don't think many teams, especially the foreign teams, will be wanting to face our English teams because we play a fast, dynamic style of football, the way that Liverpool play, but the way that Pep plays these teams, everyone knows the coaching that goes into these teams and what the threats that they have. So I wouldn't want to be playing against them two teams. I think City are my favourites at the moment to win this.
Okay, we shall see. Next, we'll get the post. Thomas
really
Tuchel, impressive.
Oh, hugely impressive. What a fella. Tactical. He's about getting new parts of the game, thinking about it deeply, and getting the best out of players. That's what you want.
Okay. Look forward to seeing
that. I'm looking forward to that. It looks interesting.
About 10 minutes, we'll have to hang on here for a bit. Get someone at home to record it for you, Harry, it'll be fine. Back to events here in Dortmund and the post-match reaction from the Tottenham manager, Maurizio Pochettino. Here he is with Des.
You must be very proud. I mean, that couldn't have gone any better for you tonight, could it?
No, I think it was fantastic. Job done. We are in quarterfinals. So happy, I think, happy for the player, for our fans. I think it's a very important victory tonight. Of course, at the first half we suffered a little bit, but I think always in football it's about to suffer and be strong all together. I think fully deserve to be on the quarterfinal.
You say you suffered in the first half, but some of that defending was inspired, and Hugo as well.
Yes, Hugo was great. I think the mentality was good. Of course, we conceded more chances than we expected, but you know that is football. This type of game, when you first leg you beat them 3-0, always is difficult. Nothing to lose for Borussia Dortmund. Taking a lot of risks. Of course, that you a lot of things to lose. Or massive game for us. But always is tough. But I think overall I feel very proud, and on the end, the objective was to be on the next stage, on the quarterfinal, and we are there.
As the first half went on, maybe towards the last 10 minutes of the first half, it felt like you'd gone through the worst of it then, and then to come out in the second half and Harry scored, that was just perfect for you.
No, yes, it's true. In the last 10 minutes, I think it was difficult for us to keep possession, to play. Of course, this type of game are completely different, when you play in another competition, and of course that was difficult. And it's true, the signal of in the last 10 minutes of the first half was start to play a little bit more, and then we start fantastic the second half. And I think one of the first action that we were capable to connect, I think was the goal of Harry Kane. Well, I think on the end it's not too much to analyze. It's about to enjoy that we are in the quarterfinal. I think with the Premier League, the most important competition, I think we need to feel proud.
Do we see tonight that this Spurs team is learning? It's learned from experiences in the past, and you're cleverer and more streetwise now in Europe?
But it's so difficult to know that. Of course, the experience is so important to improve and to be better. And of course, I think it's a lot of example, a lot of things that we can take from this type of game. That to make that must be us better team. We'll see what happens. But now it's about to enjoy and try to recover, because Saturday again another tough game against Southampton. It's going to be a big battle, and of course we need to be ready and sure that we can compete in our best.
Congratulations.